I've grown up dancing doing multiple different genres, mainly ballet, jazz, lyrical, hip hop, and modern. To start with lyrical, there's many challenges with that style. Often this is a storytelling style of dance where your movement needs to be fluid and graceful. Your story is often very sad or very happy, and that emotion needs to be portrayed to your audience. The reward of that one is, this is a style that I like to refer to as just a feel-good style. You're able to really express your emotions through this style because of the quality of movement in lyrical. The next one is ballet, and the challenges that come with ballet are muscle control, grace, and the feeling of weightlessness versus weight. You need to strategically plan to have your body, your core, and your center grounded in the floor while still being lifted through your spine, through your head to the ceiling, and appearing effortless while you do this. The rewards with ballet are the feeling of accomplishment when you are able to complete a difficult new ballet move. They're often challenging and require a lot of muscle control. In ballet, the purpose of the pointe shoe is to help the dancer appear elevated and weightless as she dances on stage. The pointe shoe has many different parts in it. Your box right here, which is the base of your pointe shoe. At the back we have the shank, which is coming up your arch, and it's hard and stiff. When you're on pointe, you're essentially standing on top of your toes in your shoe. The ribbons are wrapped around your ankle and secured on the inside of your ankle to help give support for the top of your arch. The shoe is made out of satin. As you sew on your ribbons, it's important to sew your ribbon not through the lining of the satin to help the appearance of the pointe shoe seem seamless. Actually in ballet, it's kind of a rite of passage. You're supposed to learn how to sew your own pointe shoes. My teacher required me to do that at age 11, and that's kind of a rite of passage in the ballet world. Another thing that's a difficulty with ballet and dancing on pointe is how stretched and how pressed your foot has to be to get all the way on top of your box. This bottom part is called the box of your shoe, and you need to be all the way to the very top to be executing your movements correctly, and that does hurt the top of your toes. It presses your ankle and stretches throughout your whole leg to lengthen far enough to be able to be on top of that box. The next one is hip hop, and hip hop is a style that requires a lot of intensity and a lot of hard-hitting movements and a lot of down in your plie, knees bent movements to the floor. The rewards with this one is often you feel a sense of adrenaline and a rush after competing hip hop because you've used so much energy and so much intensity through your movement that you feel a lot of that reward by the end. The next style is jazz. The challenges presented with this style is the hard hitting and strength that accompanies the jazz style. Often this one has less of a story and more of an entertainment value. So the challenge is to portray that to your audience and keep them entertained. The rewards for this one is being able to provide that entertainment and know that people enjoy it. It's often to music that's popular and upbeat, and this is something that many people can relate to. One of my favorite dance moves has been a trick I learned recently for a hip hop dance. It's called a rubber band, and these are actually so difficult to master, and I'm still working on that process. In this trick, you jump straight back to your hands, similar to a back handspring, but instead you're landing on your neck and the top of your shoulders and springing right back forward to your feet. This has been difficult, and as I've been learning, I had goose eggs on my head and sore and tired, bruised muscles. But it was really rewarding to finally feel like I was able to perform that trick with confidence, and that's been one of my favorite experiences, is mastering something that seemed too difficult. Another one of my favorite moves in dance is from the lyrical style, and it's where you reach using your arms and your torso, and you just feel the emotion and power rising in your body and reaching up towards heaven or outwards, expressing your emotions and the feelings of your heart through that movement. I would say people often underestimate the physicality required with dance. It takes a lot of muscle control, physical strength, as well as grace. When you compare it to other athletic competitions, it takes a lot of sheer force and ability to be able to compete at such a high level. But when you compare that to dance, we have to have that force and strength, but also combined it with grace and a feeling of looking effortless. At BYU, we have a very different standard of modesty than the rest of the world. There's modesty pertaining to costuming and what you wear to practice, but also the style of moves that you do in your dancing. There's a way to dance in which you're glorifying God and glorifying the talents you've been given, rather than exploiting your own body and using that as your tool to attract people. And so there's a big difference. People are often surprised that the BYU dance program can do so well nationally because of our standard of modesty. They don't expect Mormons to be able to display themselves and their talents and abilities with so much class in still a competitive way. An example of that is the BYU Cougarette have been 16-time national champions, and they are always classy with their dress and with their dance moves that they portray. Choreography is a huge part of making a profound experience in dance. The way that you execute your movements, as well as the choreography of the movements, has so much to do with what it expresses to an audience member and as a dancer. As we do movements that reach upward and reach outward, we're able to extend our reach and our influence and feel of God's Spirit in our hearts as we reach to glorify Him. My most profound experience in dance was actually recently in a concert I performed at. My team performed a spiritual number to Amazing Grace, and the feeling on stage was something I can't compare it to. When we left stage, we all came off in tears and just filled with the Spirit. I think it was so profound because we felt that connection with Heavenly Father as we're performing and using our talents and spreading His light to our audience members. I think the human experience is illustrated through dance because it's a display of body, mind, and spirit. You're dancing with your heart and soul and portraying that to your audience, but you're also creating an image with your body, and you're portraying what your mentality is through your piece to your audience. You're trying to convey your personal experience through dance to an audience member. Dance is divine because of the process it takes you through to introspect as a dancer and as an audience member. The concepts and the stories that are presented through dance cause not only the dancer but the audience to look into their hearts and into their minds, to really dig deep into what they're feeling and what they're portraying throughout their life. As we watch dance, we're able to be elevated because of the connection of body and spirit that's being shown on stage. God intended for us to be not only have our physical bodies, but to portray the person we are through our spirits, and both of those are demonstrated in dance.